Hello everyone, welcome back to Rich's Garage. Here we are with the P51 Mustang. Last time you saw it, I just had the underside painted gray, and now I have painted the top side with the Model Master Olive Drab, and that's this guy. And also I went ahead and I put some decals on the back, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But yeah, finally you see the Pilot without tape covering the canopy. I still have the rudder support that I have to glue back on, so I can pick it up. And paint that goes up here on the tip. I have to make a cable to come to the back. But what I've done is I've also used transparent green. Use Createx. Green, red, and yellow on the bottom. And I just did it with a brush, right? Those are airbrush. You can airbrush them, but I only need a couple dabs, so you see the wing markers. Painted the inside, the interior green. I brush painted that by hand. What else? The prop, I painted a semi-gloss. I still have to paint the tips yellow, and that'll be the chrome yellow that'll paint. See that? There's that. And these, the prop gets decaled as well, and then the other pieces for the prop, the nose, cone, and this adapter, I brush painted the red, so that goes like that. Prop goes through there, and then you have the nose that fits on top of that. So these are the doors, the landing gear doors. I brush painted the inside. So as far as painting, everything's done. Now there's a lot of decaling that has to get done. So here's a decal sheet. It's for two different paint styles. The one I'm doing is the China 1945 version, as opposed to this one where you would paint it in aluminum color. This is the two-tone. So I still have a fair amount of decaling to do. There's a lot of little each blade, the prop gets two decals, the wings, the side of the plane, the nose art. So there's a lot to do. So let me show you what I did as far as decaling. So the olive drab is a flat paint, and to decal on a flat paint is I mean, you could do it, but you have to use a lot of decal set to really get it to adhere without looking cloudy, and sometimes that's pretty difficult. So what I want to show you is, let me see here, try and get the light to reflect on it a little bit. I think that'll do it. So if you look at the right side, if you look close, let's see if I can get this a little closer here. There we go. If you look outboard of the decal, look here, and then on the very inside against the base here, you see how it's shiny, and then on the outside it's not shiny. What I did was, where the decal is going to go, I brush painted a little bit of Pledge with Future, right? So that's this guy, right? This is the new bottle, the new. They don't mention Future in there, they just call it Pledge Floor Care, but basically it's just acrylic clear coat. So I used a, let me see, where's that brush? Just to give you an idea. I mean, this size brush, right? So a very small amount, just where the decal was going to go, and I just went and I put that down. And I let that dry. And I made sure I didn't put a lot on it because I didn't want it to fill the panel lines with with Future and then harden because I wanted to work the decals down into the panel lines. Now on the other side, let me see here. I did the same thing. Then I'll show you how I put the decal on. But then I went over it with a matte finish. So first step was the clear coat. Then, and there's different ways. People have different techniques with how they put decals on. I use one of these microfiber adapters. Applicators. Right. So it's just this. Let's see here. To here, get them a micro brush, right? Different places have them. I got this at Hobbytown. So you can use a cotton swab, you can do whatever you want with it, right? But use a micro scale, micro set. Put this down on the plane first, on the surface you want a decal. You have the decal sitting in water. When it starts to release, you pick it up, slide it off the paper, get it in position. Lightly blot it if you have to, and then just let that set. Once it sits for a little bit, then usually I'll put a little bit more micro set on top, and I let it dry. Then I come back with a cotton swab. After it's fully dry, wet, wash it down, dry it a little bit. You don't have to put a lot of pressure, just want to get that one layer off. Then I come back with microsole. So microsole is going to soften the decal. So once you put this on, you don't want to work it too much because you'll distort the decal. But what I do is dip it in, put a little bit on, and then so I work one side, then while I go to the other side, then I come back. So it's maybe 30 seconds or so, and you can, with light pressure, you can just work along the line, and you wind up, you can push it down. Basically, it'll stretch the decal a little bit, push it down into the panel lines. This is nice and soft as opposed to using a toothpick or the back of a hobby knife, which would cut this. If it was a bigger decal or a larger scale, where you're really trying to get into the panel line and you're okay with even just cutting it, then you can use the back of a knife. Sometimes just put it right across, cut it with the back of a knife, fold it in, and then just let it adhere inside like the door jamb or something if you're using like on a car. I let that dry. Even though I put the Future, there was still a little bit of cloudiness in spots. So after that had all dried, washed it again, then with the tip of my knife blade just lightly tap to make slight pinholes. Come back, do another application of microsole. The pinholes will help it seep in underneath, and then that pulls it down. Let that dry, wash it, and you're done. The final step is to seal the decal. And for that, I brush painted on, this is Delta Ceram Coat, matte varnish. So again, with a small brush, like almost the same size here, just come in, dip it in a little bit, and just, you don't want to overwork it and get streaks, but you have some time to work it. And you can see how it really just dulls it all down, gives you that flat finish, matches up with the paint, with the plain paint again, and that's that. So, I did this side as well on the tail. This side I still have to do, so I want to leave like that, so you can see how that's shinier. See that reflection, how you get off of that, because that's just a decal film sitting on top of the clear coat. And if I do this side, so you don't get that a stronger reflection. So that's where we are with the plane. I'm hoping the next time you see this, it's done. Like I said, I have a lot of decaling to do. So for where the star goes, I'll put the Future on. And the one good thing is it dries pretty quick and it's self-leveling. So what I'll do is just put that light coat on where it has to go. I'll even hold the plane a little bit. It's a little bit hard to, anchor it into something. Let it start to set up before I go to the other side. Yeah, there we go. So it's coming along. I left the landing gear and stuff off because I have to handle it a lot to do the decaling. But once that's all done, with the decaling. Then I'll put the fuel tanks on, the prop, the landing gear, and I wound up going over. If you go way back, these I had painted that more of a silver, and I went back with a gunmetal gray and dulled them down. So I will put them in, and there you have it. So I just wanted to give you an update, show you what's going on with the decals, and like I said, hopefully next time you see the plane is complete. Alright, thanks. Bye.